friends. I'm glad to connect with you again. This is the second part of the channeling begun last week. It's going to encompass more than child trafficking and just talk about child abuse in general, particularly sexual abuse. It is a very intense subject, and I have to give incredible thanks and support and just pay real respect and honor to those who contacted me to say that they were in support of last week's message and that they realize it's a tough issue, but one that requires that we send a lot of light to now. So in these energies coming in, I find that Lightworkers are asking so many questions as they're feeling old trauma coming up from this and other lives, or they're feeling what feels to be something really shadowy, and maybe that's based on grief or rage and loss and abandonment. So we don't really have to blame ourselves. I would say just allow those feelings, let it come up. The collective often encourage people, they have for years, encourage people, get a pen and paper and write at the top, what's going on that I feel so awful about such and such, or just in general, whatever it is that's happening with you, and then switch the pen to the other hand and just let the story come out. And that's your subconscious speaking. That could be a past life self, it could be your child aspect, it could be a lot of different things. But at least then you'll know what you're grappling with. And that will only be one aspect, because most light bearers have been on this earth hundreds of times, some more than 1,000 times. I know there are Starseed who are very new to earth life, and yet you've experienced a lot on other planets, and those memories are deep in our subconscious. So I think it's important to let this come forward now. So I'm going to hand this over now to Kuan Yin. She came through a few days ago to let me know that she would like to speak on these issues, and I'm honored to bring her through for you and to encourage everyone to allow the energetic transmission that comes with her words to go straight to your heart and to heal many, many things that you don't even know are there. But while these ascension energies are flowing in, while this powerful light is flowing in, so much is coming up to the surface. So I'm going to let Kuan Yin speak now and request that she step forward. Namaste, dear one. She is known as the Ascended Master, who is particularly focused on mercy and compassion and connection to the suffering of others in ways that elevate us. So you'll hear her next. Greetings, dear ones. I know each of you by your light, and I am honored, all of us in the collective, likewise honored to be a part of this gathering, which, though it takes place over a variety of space-times, nevertheless lives in oneness. And yes, mercy, compassion, connection to those who have suffered. This is a great part of my path and always has been. And I congratulate all of you coming forward at this time when there is so much to be reckoned with and so much to be faced that has lived in shadow, partly because that's all it ever knew. And so, as this dear one was saying, we ask, please, that you not consider that you are of a low vibration just because things are coming up now. Old anger, old shock, old pain of various kinds, perhaps feelings of insecurity. You might feel alone and abandoned. This is not coming up because this is the full truth of your existence. It's coming up because all of these beautiful solar light particles flowing onto the earth now are seeping not only into every cell of the physical body, but every particle of the spirit and the consciousness. So anything there, as they say, that is not like love or love itself is going to come up. It's going to rise up now, so ere you can see it and deal with it and bless it. And you don't have to heal everything all at once. In the ascension process, much is healed merely at times by being quiet, by surrendering and letting go. It's not all about hard work. It's not even all about meditation, although in those moments you will, dear ones, you will see far more clearly who you are and why you have come. So what we're going to do is call in all of your spirit teams going to request that they lay before us, and all in the collective who are here, lay down what each of you is suffering with right now, and we're going to lend a lot of healing energy to that. Now, Archangel Raphael naturally is here, but what we are offering is the vibration of being heard finally, the child self finally being able to tell all of the story of what they have been through, and the inner self that is hidden for the most part from the world, and perhaps even from your conscious mind and awareness at times, knowing that they are loved and supported in all ways, and that it's not a matter of belief, it's not a matter of thought or subscribing to one particular idea or system, even a healing system, even a higher light system. It's a matter of just breathing and just being for a moment. And so go into your breath, dear ones, and we are working with all of you. That's right, all of the higher selves and guides now laying everything, all of your angelic guardians laying everything before us, and all of the beautiful divine masters and angels within the collective, the nature spirits, the earth elements, wonderful. All are participating now. And we are holding all of this that all of you have suffered, and which you connect with some aspect of yourself you'd rather not look at. It's too painful, or it lives in the shadow, or it does this and that, it contradicts with your higher ideals, etc. Placing all of that into a beautiful circle of light, and asking Saint Germain in particular to step forward, to work with his beautiful transmuting violet flame, to raise the vibration of all these circumstances and to rinse you free of the struggle of having to release them on your own. That is no longer necessary. There is great help for all of you. There is great and beautiful help, dear ones. Put everything into that beautiful circle of light, please. Spirit teams, wonderful. And if you yourselves have something to put into that circle, go ahead, dear ones. Something you don't understand. Something that's too painful to look at, or something you cannot name, but which seems to be lurking deep inside your inner life. Now, we wanted to speak also on this issue of child trafficking, and also in the broader sense, all children who have their life energy stolen from them, which can be replenished. This is not a forever sort of contract or agreement, not at all. But the one putting out the video, the collective referred to as their writer, and she is, of course, asking why would someone write into their life chart being trafficked, being abused this way, or being sexually abused, or abused in other ways that feel to be soul-crushing. And so we're calling on the higher selves now, as well as casting an eye out over onto all of your life charts, and just listening as well as taking in the energetic components of those life blueprints, which you compose in the higher realms before incarnating, of course. So a good number of you, as was discussed last week, have wanted to release, not entirely repudiate, but release the need to define oneself through physical life. And this may sound strange, because to the child who's been abused, there is an awful lot going on that relates their inner life to their physical body, because, of course, the trauma, while creating separations, also creates an indelible link between one's everyday life and one's, for instance, one's sexuality, sense of self, sense of safety, sense of whether the world is a good and safe and honorable place to live, or a place never to be trusted. And so looking into the blueprints, we see not only have people wanted to expunge, release any shadow, any abuse they have put upon others, and to understand what they put others through, but to take on now we're seeing quite a number of reasons popping up. We'll finish this one. The idea was to take on a particular form of punishment and to bear the scars of that until healing could be achieved, and that healing would then elevate one to a level at which they would know themselves in a very new and empowering and far higher way than they would have known themselves without the abuse. So this means climbing one of the tallest mountains in earth life that exists. And it means going straight into the soul for, yes, comfort and encouragement, but also for a reason that has no reason. For a level of divine love that does not need the mind's participation or comprehension in order to move forward. And so there is this ongoing sense of, how do I climb above this? And that particular road, very well traveled now, will lead one to new and higher understandings of one's own soul growth and soul strength. Now, coupled with that, particularly for those who think of themselves as starseed light bearers, coupled with that is the desire to be present in those circumstances to instill the heart and mind and soul, yes, of the child pedophile networks, but also of every single abuser, every single person who devises these plans and or profits from them, connects to them in any way, uses them so as to access children for dark reasons, or feels that they are not so bad or probably don't really exist, at least not in my country, quote unquote. This is what many will think, and unfortunately there has been a backlash recently where there have been people, for instance, being interviewed on television, or these interviews put up on YouTube, saying maybe these issues exist but not in this country, meaning not the US or not the UK or Australia or what have you. And of course they exist in nearly every country, particularly the more powerful ones. Slavery has been used as a form of profit, of course, by the old power structure for many, many centuries. So those of you affected by this particular form of abuse, whether trafficked or abused by those that you knew or came to know, those in your social circles or someone who just happened to take advantage of the moment, whether you knew them or not, you have been planting powerful light transmissions into every aspect of this issue. And therefore it is not what it was. This has been, unfortunately, but it has been one of the biggest ways in which the old power structure and its members gleaned more life energy power, more co-creative power. Yes, in dark ways that are seeing now to their slow but sure destruction in many cases, and seen to the destruction of their power structure. But certainly while Earth was caught in a very low vibration, they got away with it for a very long time. Except that now, those coming in, particularly those who are children now, say of age 18, in their teens and younger, all the way down to infancy, come in with a special and very powerful light. So to abuse one of these, to take one of them, even though their human consciousness will feel victimized and traumatized, their soul and their soul family are working 1,000 times harder than ever they did before to plant light into this issue, into the abusers, into the network owners and operators, into those who suffer under these criminal acts, and into the earth herself, which has been so defiled over the centuries by dark intent, as obviously you all know. To infuse powerful light, there has been absolutely incredible light and energies, tonal vibrations and energies of inner knowing that those who have participated or who have run these organizations and their goings-on are having now to face things that even 10 years ago they would not have faced, or only fleetingly. They would have wondered what it meant, this dream or nightmare, or this person saying this or that to them, or this feeling in their heart space, or their mind malfunctioning in some way. They would have wondered what was going on, and now they have a feeling deep down that they know what's going on. And they are too terrified of their own abusers, their own owners, their own slave masters, to step out of the network and to do as they would prefer, which is to run from this criminality and this cruelty. So to say that those who have come to the earth now, who are suffering this, have a very, very great mission that they are carrying out, is putting it lightly. This is not to say all is well, all is fine. It's okay if children suffer because there's a higher reason, so most assuredly none of us in the collective would say that. None of us in the higher realms would say that. It is not all right. But consider, dear ones, that as the shadow aspects come up within yourself, notice how much more you are willing to heal and to move forward into the light, and how much more then would those who have been in shadow for centuries, one incarnation after another, how much more would they begin to wake up and realize there's something big going on. You might drink a glass of pure water, structured water, blessed with pure love and pure light. Perhaps those words would be written on a bit of paper that is taped to the glass container, and you wait an hour or so, and then you drink the water while it holds the emotional and spiritual resonance of love or peace or whatever the words are. And you drink it, you feel beautifully comforted. You feel calmer. You feel your energies lift. You begin to remember from somewhere deep inside how completely loved you are. Now, someone from that other side of things, someone who abuses very knowingly, understands what they're doing and does it anyway, for their own quote-unquote gratification, or for money, or for both. They drink that same glass of water, dear ones, and they will be overcome with feelings that disturb and upset and trouble them many times over, without being able to name exactly what is happening, unless they see that word love, or peace, or kindness, or compassion written on the side of the glass, and then they'll begin to understand. It's not just a word, it's a vibration, and I have taken it in. They may try to spit out what they've had from that glass of water. They may be sorry they ever drank it, and yet something within them, the child who was crushed and abused, will resonate on a higher level and will begin to have a clearer voice and begin to influence more and more that abusers or that criminals' goings on in life. And we wish to say in a funny kind of way, you are that love-filled essence that these ones are taking in. You fill the very air, the very essence of the environment that you live in on this planet with exactly that kind of magic, exactly that healing power, and nothing less. And so you can look at outer events such as war and climate disaster and trafficking and of all kinds, and all kinds of abuses in the world, and decide, oh, everything's dreadful, I just feel awful. You can do that if you feel you must. And yet, you have come in at this time for such powerful reasons, dear ones. You have come in to heal others. You have come in to raise the vibration of this planet to where the abuse of humanity's own children would be beyond unthinkable. Likewise, the abuse of elders, of refugees and immigrants, of all those who, say, for being non-white or for having grown up in a particular ethnicity or religion or social class, income level, are systematically put down and vilified and either ignored or stuffed into a prison somewhere. You have come in to let all of the prisoners know they are free. And the worst sorts of prisoners on your planet are those who think they're in control, who are headed straight for their own destruction if they do not return to the light. And we don't say anyone's going to drop a bomb on them or anything, but they will face Divine Goddess, give an account, be given a last chance to come over into the light. If they refuse, this is a result of their own making, what befalls them then. Inner self-will and self-determination and human will, human choice are all honored. Honored by Mother Sekhmet, honored by the Saturn Tribunal, honored by this universe, the laws of this cosmos. Don't ever doubt that, dear ones. Don't ever doubt that all of you made your choice for the light, because this is who you are and what you must do, both. And so you didn't come in to be a victim, no. And neither did any of these others who appear to have been victimized. Came in to anchor so much light that this beautiful ascending planet will never be the same. And so we ask that you not come to the conclusions that if you were abused in this life, you were an awful person in other lives. While some of that may hold some truth, that is not the full story. That is only part of it. And perhaps this channeled expression on these issues will continue a bit longer to offer even more reasons, but those are the ones we offer today, dear ones, with much love and many blessings. There is an old hymn of Christendom, I know that my Redeemer liveth, and we would say that Redeemer is all of you. Yeshua having come in only to set an example, not to be worshipped. And we would say that all the light that you are, gathered in the oneness of universal light, which is pure love, is indeed renewing, rebirthing, reforming, transforming this beautiful Lady Gaia. And so we send much love, dear ones, and many blessings. Namaste.